don't mind if I stand.
Yes!
All right, folks, any questions? Come line up over here with me, please.
Just stand.
That way we have a mic so they can actually hear your questions. Anybody?
This is not the After Dark panel.
I'm not screening questions, I'm just having them come up to me and ask.
No questions?
Come on, questions, come over here to me. Line up right here for me.
Don't this hit make my people want to jump?
In my head.
How's everybody doing today?
Good.
I got a question about the order, actually. I was hoping that we could get an update on it because I'm really looking forward to it for the last, what, 2 years?
Yes. Well, you know what? Independent filmmaking doesn't happen overnight. So I thank you all for your patience. But no, we are back on track. We're going to be filming next year. We actually have a panel tomorrow at 2 o'clock. So if you want to come, we'll talk about the order, everything. We're super excited. We are gearing up to shoot. We're gearing up to kick each other's butts, and we are so happy and excited to do that most of all. But yeah, we had a huge, setback last year, but we're a resilient bunch, and everyone here is determined and focused to make this movie because it'll give you guys a chance to see this in real life. You guys have always known us as superheroes, and you've never seen us in more edgier roles and more, darker characters, and I think that you guys are old enough to handle that. And these guys are so talented. Like, the reality is that they, Power Rangers is like one facet of who they are as actors. So David and I were super excited to try to create something to give you a whole nother side of them and get them, all of us just want to spread our wings. So, but if you buy the order book, we have them at our booth. If you buy that, you're instantly entered to win the Dino Ultra Zord Big Huge Coco Pop. So if you want to get a copy, and all the money, 70% of the funds go to the order budget. So the more books, the bigger the movie.
You're instantly a Hollywood producer.
Yeah! I need this move. You're hired. You're hired.
Put that as a credit.
I'm writing him into the film.
So that was no
subtitle. Baby Rocky.
I love it. I'm gonna start calling myself Baby Rocky now.
Baby Rocky.
I'm younger than Kid Rock, but
Baby Rocky.
I've been trying to figure out for years. Everybody was like, "Hey, who was the guy who played you as a kid?" And I was like, "Was I a kid?" Like, I know when I was a kid. When was I a kid on the show? And now, finally, I'm like, okay.
This one.
It was the other guy. It was that guy that was the other guy's kid.
That's pretty cool though. Think about it. You got OG, you got Rocky, you got Baby Rocky, and you got Yuta. Like that's
Well, Yuta is the OG.
Yeah. You're American OG. He's Sentai OG.
I'm 40 countries OG.
Man. Good question.
Thank you for your question.
It's so nice to meet you, Power Rangers, again. Because I'm your fan from Miami, Florida. I met at Florida SuperCon.
Yes.
And for Audri Jabrod, might go for the first time here, though. Nice to meet you guys. And my question is, did you guys ever continue watching the new seasons to see how the new friends did right after you guys left the shows?
No.
Instantly disinterested.
I stopped watching after Turbo.
You guys are the reason it turned 25.
It would have been a
You
little
guys kept it
awkward
alive.
if in our 20s we started watching Power Rangers. Like, there was no mystery for us, we knew all the secrets.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey man, whoever's next, go get them. That was it.
Where'd you get that Diet Coke? Right? That's the secret I want to know.
You paid for it at the
Oh, okay. I'll go
second
buy
of
one.
jig.
What makes you think it's Diet Coke?
Oh! Yeah.
Not
We were at the panel last night. He knows.
That's the real secret.
more seats, okay?
Oh, no, it's just.
Hi, my name is McLean,
Okay.
and I have a question for Walter and St. John, Austin.
St. John, Austin.
There's more seats on that side,
What?
guys.
Was it difficult to let go of your powers?
Difficult to let go of our powers. It was difficult to, yes. It was difficult. The difficulty of it was, I loved being a Power Ranger. I loved the character I created, and I loved the effect that it had on people and the infection of what the show was at the time. But it was definitely important to me to stand up for what I believed in, and so what I wanted to do was I wanted everything to work out, but it just didn't work out that way. It wasn't my decision.
He's so nice.
Awesome.
Was it,
After dark.
I don't feel like I let go of my powers. I went on, I became a medic, became a firefighter, I went to the Middle East. I feel like I stepped up my game when I left the show. I wanted things to work out on the show too. But, like Walter said, you know, we stood up for something. And we went to all the Rangers. They all had the opportunity to stand with us. 3 turned yellow, and the rest of us stood tall.
Put yellow in it. Don't put yellow in it.
I'll be back on you. We never fight, we're family.
This is a thank you and a question for Walter Jones.
I love your costume.
Watching you on the show is what sort of inspired me to get into dance, or the type of dance I'm into now. And so I wanted to say thank you for that. And also, did your passion for dance continue after the show, or did it just sort of like stop?
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's funny because I grew up dancing. I didn't realize that I had. But I guess I've been dancing most of my life. Started as a kid. I saw my dad dance at when I was like 4 years old, and he did this thing in our front room at a party where he put his leg behind the other leg, went down to the floor, came up in a spin, and I was like, whoa, that's my dad. That's so cool. So after I saw that, I had a passion for dancing. I didn't really know how to, but we had a birthday party for my cousin, and I was still a little kid, and I was by my grandmother, and I went, I want to go dance. And she was like, go, baby, go dance. And so I got in the middle of the circle, and I started dancing like Michael Jackson, and everybody went, yeah, go get it. And after that, I was hooked. I was like, oh, man, dancing's fun. So I did that, and I pop locked when I was a kid in high school, and then I break dance, and then I went to school of performing arts, and I studied jazz, tap, ballet, modern, and so I learned the essentials of dance. And yeah, so it's kind of been one of those things that's been throughout my life. I am now a world champion salsa dancer. So I won a championship in 2004. What's that? Pina colada.
She was at the
and I also dance. I love partner dancing now. So as I was getting older, I was like, okay, I can't keep up with the young boys breakdancing no more. So I started doing partner dancing. Started salsa. I danced salsa, bachata, kizomba, which is from Angola, and zouk, which is from Egypt, and zouk, which is a Brazilian dance, and that's one of my passions now. What kind of dance do you do?
I was
Hip-hop and break.
Get it, girl. Hey. All right. Nice.
Hello. I wanted to ask, what was your favorite episode that you filmed?
I already answered that.
Mine was, I had a couple. One was another song and dance where Jason, David, Frank, and I were hit with a spell and we had to sing the whole episode. Yeah, even when the cameras were off, we were still singing. Would you like some of this? No, Nakia. It was fun. It was too fun. I think we might have got on their nerves, but it was fun. It was fun. And then for Turbo Shadow Rangers, where again, we were hit with a spell and we had to fight ourselves. That was fun.
I had two. I think for fun reasons, we got to go to the snow. I don't know what it was called, but we were in the snow and
Snow business, like
snow business. I knew you'd know. He's an encyclopedia. And do you know what an encyclopedia is anymore? Google. He's Google. And I also loved filming Wait and See, where I was flying around all over the place. That was really fun.
That sounds awesome. I did an episode, I can't remember the name of it, but there was like a bear, monkey, ape, something, whatever. Wannabe Ranger, right. And I got to play, I forgot about that until I saw it recently. It was like I don't know, it was something weird, but it was a monkey. It was a big, yeah. Anyway, this thing made me evil, and I got to play evil in an episode, so that was cool. It's always fun to play something different. So that was fun.
I think my favorite episode was Attack of the 50-Foot Bulk was the one we were at the water park, right? Yeah. They closed down Raging Waters in California for all of us at like 12 years old. That's insanity. There's a bunch of kids running around an empty water park and it's all ours. That was probably the best one.
50-foot bulk.
Yeah.
He was called Brat Boy.
Brat Boy, that's right. The monster was called Brat Boy. He's correct.
Blake, I already answered your question. So, you know,
I think my favorite, I go back and forth, but we were at a comic book store, we did an in-store signing, and they had where I was fire safety captain, or what was I, the hall monitor, or something.
Yeah,
like I loved it because Aisha was like bossy, and I was like, that's just like bossy, sassy, rolling my eyes.
Didn't have to act.
And someone reminded me yesterday of an episode where I told Scorpina, I knew I didn't like you in the outfit you had on, or whatever the line was. And I was like, oh yeah, that was funny. There you go. Well, that was vice versa. So I go every week it changes. So this week those are the two. Good question.
Hi, I'm Corey. It's nice to meet you guys. If anything walked away from the set that you took, what was it, and why did you take it?
We weren't that smart. We didn't know we were going to be here 25 years later, excited to see you guys and everything, so we didn't take anything. And when I went back for the anniversary episode, I had things in mind that I was going to take. They were locked down, like they had padlock. They knew what we were thinking. Damn it. And my suit. Yeah, I would have taken my suit, my helmet, my boots, my belt, my glove, my coins, everything.
Send over to my garage.
No, it's a shame. I would love to have had my suit. That would have been awesome. My suits, plural.
They gave me my yellow snake skin pants.
From one of the episodes where I was a radio DJ and I had monkeys inside of we had monkeys. They were called monkeys, yeah. They were some special monkeys. They got a little excited, a little too much while you're holding them. I was like, you need to back on up. I have my yellow, actually I found them right before I came here. They were in my drawer and I tried to put them on.
It wouldn't work. I took out my thigh and was like,
I got to walk away with a legit communicator because I made real good friends with the prop master on the show. Mark and
12-year-old hustler.
there you go.
I think it was Ben.
Took
care of the kids.
Yeah, and he was like, just take it, dude. I'll make another one. They cost like $5.
I'll enter tomorrow and go make me a communicator.
He will too. I just saw him at PMC. He was like, I'm gonna come here and make communicators and sell them.
Yeah.
It's like he should.
He should, because he made them all the time.
So he was so fast.
Just don't fight him.
Yeah.
I did walk. I mean, I never walked away with anything, so I didn't steal anything. But I did mistakenly take a shirt home one time, and I still have it in my closet. It's funny because I went to a party, it was some kind of a 90s party, and so I wore my shirt, and of course nobody recognized it. I was all excited. I'm wearing my shirt from the Power Rangers, and they were like, "So what are you?" I was like, "I'm never mind. It's okay." It's just a shirt, yeah.
Hey guys, my name's Darren. This is my daughter Sunny. It's our first convention we've done, so I just want to say thank you guys for. Yeah, right. Thanks for letting me share my childhood superheroes with my daughter. But she has a question for you guys. So.
What was your favorite moment from one of your episodes?
Oh, favorite moment. We had fun. We had so much fun. We did the Wild Wild West episode, and we got to ride horses, and that was a lot of fun actually. So it was like just being on set and getting to ride like Wild West Rangers. Wild Breast, yes, Wild Breast. Yeah.
Stop while you're ahead.
Yeah. So anytime we got to do something out of the ordinary, so like riding, horses or different, things. Playing with monkeys, like that. I mean, it was actually really cool.
I got to pull a Zeo crystal out of a volcano. That was cool. I shifted people into Zeo. That's why I'm sitting here, I guess. Is that Water You Thinking or Rocky versus the Volcano?
What are you thinking?
What are you thinking?
We were very happy when they came on because we got 2 weeks off of work.
My favorite episode was obviously the pilot. The very first fight scene that ever existed in the history of Power Rangers was when I beat that
Skull.
You're right, Skull.
The original Skull.
Yeah, the original. So that was sort of like the.
I wonder where that guy is.
Right? There wasn't a fight yet. That was the first fight scene. So for me, that was like, I love fighting. Like, not for real, but yeah. That was it.
Mine was anytime I got to fight. I was like, what? Only 12 today? Come on. So, but I always had to, well, all of us. I mean, we were all alpha males on set, most of us. And I was always looking for something bigger, higher to flip or jump off of. Just like I had to take the fights more and more extreme. It was funny because I think you guys really got to do your fights, right?
No, Turbo.
So after we left, I think they'd had enough of us. They were like, no more stunts. Come guys.
No, we got to fight. We had our civilian fights. It wasn't until
I thought you guys had some.
we had them all the way through. It wasn't Brad Hawkins broke his leg on VR Troopers, and then they were like, okay, that's it. Yeah, that's it. And we were like because the movie we were so behind the shooting schedule, so they were like, they're taking over. We don't need anyone to break their leg.
Yeah, well, they hired me for martial arts, and then once I got on set, they were like, no martial arts.
Because that was around the time he broke his leg, and it was like that basically put the show, back. They had to stop production. So then they were like, oh shit.
I'd be like, hey, you guys shot on the film.
Yeah, I said shoot. I said shoot. Didn't I say shoot? I promise I said shoot.
Yeah, we film there sometimes. Yeah.
Do you remember the big rock that was out there?
I filmed on that. A song sung yet. God bless you. That is very big. And you lived. You're here.
I actually did a Russian, a front flip with a twist. And, anyway, I was always doing
A
stupid
Russian?
stuff.
How do you know it was an African? Oh no, it's a joke.
She's always so we fix things in Russian.
So one of my favorite moments was in Zeo when I saw one of the trays of Triforia, and then there were 3 of them. I was like, oh my. There's 3. And they were so cute. Yeah. And then yeah. Yes, yeah. And then I met Austin. Yeah, that was the year I met Austin because you ended up taking over. No, it wasn't my very favorite, but I just remember that was fun. No, I'm not talking about Austin. I'm talking about Trey. Forget it! Never mind! Never mind!
I'm gonna go cry in the corner.
I think one of my favorite moments was dancing with Alpha in the command center. That was one. Or when I danced with Volk, me and Volk had the dance off in the juice bar. That was a lot of fun. In that episode, I did pirouettes. And it was the most pirouettes I've ever done. I did like I usually can do 3, but in this episode I did like 7. It was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I came out and I was so excited because I finished it. I was trying to be cool, whatever. And then they said cut. And I went, did you get it? Did you get it? Because sometimes when they film, you get a hair in the gate and you have to do it all over again. So there was no hair in the gate. I was so excited because it lives forever. I've never done that many again.
Temporary film is forever.
That's hard.
I got busy watching it.
Yeah.
Okay, my question is for Walter. Now, with Hasbro taking over Power Rangers, they've talked about maybe doing a Power Ranger reunion movie. Would you be willing to come back and play Zach the Black Ranger?
I would absolutely love to come back and have my character like come back and do something and have it explained like that I'm not at the peace treaty anymore. I've been there for a long time, you know.
She works into Africa.
The thing is as soon as I left the show, I joined the union, the Screen Actors Guild, and I've been in the union since then. And unfortunately, the show is still non-union, which is part of the reason why I left the show. Because for it to be fair, it should be a union show. That way, all the actors are paid what they're supposed to be paid. They don't work over hours that they work, because we were working like 15 hours sometimes. We get up, you had to be there at 5:30 or 6 o'clock in the morning, and then we didn't get off till 8:30 or 9, and then we had to come back and do it the next day, which is not fair. So, if it was a union project, and unfortunately it's not been union, it's the reunion movie?
No, he's talking about the movie.
No,
He's saying
they've been talking about maybe doing a reunion movie since Hasbro taking
if it was a union movie, I would definitely do it. Yeah, for sure.
Maybe Bryce is right, but good answer.
Hi guys, big fan. Been watching you guys since I was little, so thank you all for coming. And Austin, thanks for the picture earlier. My question is actually for Austin, Walter, and Audri. I remember as a kid watching the Power Rangers Lost episode and seeing Austin and Walter come back, you know, presenting the history of the Rangers since then, and then presenting that pilot episode. So my question for you three is, what was it like after like 7 years finally having that pilot episode come out to the general public?
I was surprised. Someone contacted me and said, hey, have you seen this? You know, I had no idea that they were even going to release it. What I was informed about is someone over at Savant called and they wanted it. Didn't you guys shoot that in Florida?
No, we shot it at the Savant Entertainment.
Yeah. So I got a call from production, and they said originally they were going to have you guys do that live at Universal Studios in Florida. And they wanted to know if I wanted to come out. They wanted to do a live panel with the originals, and they wanted me to come out and do that, and they wanted to present that then. And I said, sure, I'd be happy to. They said, but we're not going to pay you for it.
Welcome to Savant.
Yeah. So I said, take time out of your life. I said, well, no, just because go ahead and do what you want with the pilot. It's yours, but I won't. Yeah, I didn't want to fly and do all that for free. So that's how I learned about it, and I liked it. It was pretty cool that they released it. Then that was it.
I just remember I don't remember where I was. I was somewhere in the world, probably at the fire department. And I came in. In fact, I was at the fire department because it became a joke. So we had what's called any fire, EMS, police. So you guys are familiar with the day room, right? So the day room, you have your kitchen, usually your bunk room, and the day room will usually have your TV, whatever it's going to be, and then couches where when you're not training or when you're not on a call, you can be human, and do whatever you do. So the guys all had, I think at the time it was 24, it was Jack Power 24, and somebody had caught that they were airing this episode, and they were all like, hey man, get in here, we got something. I'm 24 again, come on guys. You know, let's watch something cool, like nothing. Like I just have never been a TV guy. And so I come in there and I sit down and I was like, all right, more Jack Bauer. You know, like Kiefer Sutherland, but come on. And opening scene, Rita coming up out of that damn pot on the 1,000 years! And I was just like, oh. And they are all immediately rolling, and I just got up and walked out of the room. I've had enough, thanks. So that was how I knew it was coming out.
When they called us to do it, it was cool because they were like, all right, so we're going to bring you and Austin back and you guys are going to host it because, again, it's a non-union show at the time. So as a host, I could host it, but I couldn't act on it, right? So I thought it was really exciting because, one, I hadn't seen Austin in a while, and for us to be back together and kind of giving each other the what's up between characters, the bros, you know, it's like Jason and Zach back together again, you know, like, and so for us to be there and giving each other a hard time and hosting it was a lot of fun. We had fun.
Yeah.
It was like the two of us we were gone from the show, and to be together again and talking about the show and introducing it, the pilot, which was really cool. I thought it was fun.
Yeah, it was fun making it.
Thanks, guys. I think we have a question from the live stream back here.
Yep. So, got a really good question I haven't heard asked before. If you went to the moon, what memento would you leave?
What memento? If we went to the moon? Personal memento?
Rita.
I'd leave those bangs I had in the night. Yeah, the Aisha bang. I'd leave those there. And those yellow bobby socks.
No, I had no idea what I would say until she just said it. I would leave that power mullet I had back. 15
Yes, mullet. You did have a mullet.
Jesus, worse.
Thank you, Rocky.
I started sweating. Is that weird?
I don't know, what would I leave? There's a lot of things I could think of that I want to leave, but as a memento, something that's close and dear to me. Probably like the first book that I ever read that was really amazing. It's kind of crazy, but Portable Play-Doh. I read it when I was 15 years old and I fell in love with it, and that led me to just being an avid reader. So, and to kind of think a little deeper because it was a philosophy book, and I didn't know it was a philosophy book. It was in order for me to get my black belt. After I had done everything physically that I needed to learn how to do, I was like, yes, I'm ready to take my test. And my instructor said, what book have you read lately? And I said, what? And he said, what book have you read? And I hadn't really read a whole lot of books at 15. And he said, anyone can punch and kick, but it's what you know that counts the most. So here, read this book. And he threw this book at me. And it's always been my favorite possession. Because it led me to start thinking and reading. That's what that's very good.
Okay, everybody else was really shallow. You and your mullet and your bobby socks.
Residual checks we got from the never mind.
So residual check. So I got my first residual check maybe.
No, I was talking about the Savant residual check.
That's what I'm talking about. So like I don't know, it had been like a decade and a half. Never received a residual check. Finally, they tracked me down. They're like, "Hey, we have a check for you here for residuals for Power Rangers." And I was like,
What?
It's like, did I actually maybe make money? And, right, here's my address, and they sent it to me.
47 cents. No, 15 cents.
$5.94.
Lunch is on you.
I want one of you to cup of coffee.
And then I was like, no, that wasn't anything.
I got another one for 92 cents. I was like, why bother?
Starbucks 08, John Austin.
St. John.
My question is for all of you. What's your opinion on Dimensions in Danger?
On what?
The anniversary episode?
Yeah.
The anniversary episode. I liked it. I was very honored to be a part of it. I think it was too short. I think that there's a lot of, you guys did too. I think that there was things in there that there was too much filler things. Like, it was just kind of odd. And my son and I were dying laughing with the cowboy ranger. There's a ranger that has a cowboy hat.
Oh, Levi
Weston. Jordy's character. Levi. That was hilarious. He had a cowboy hat in this. I didn't notice him. My son's like, he's a cowboy, and I was like, he has the cowboy hat with the ranger suit. It's hilarious. Yeah.
It's a mashup.
Yeah, it's like the helmet and the hat together, and he's like,
Second grade, her son loves that cowboy.
oh, it's so, yeah, he's super popular. I thought that was so funny. And then I think that they just did not utilize us at all. Like, it was like Steve and Jason and I didn't even know each other. And then he had him and I hold hands, like indicating that we're together. But he didn't care that I was taken, and it was so powering. Nothing makes sense. And people were asking me questions. I said, I don't try and make sense.
That's what that's my biggest thing. Like, I feel like if they ever do it, like, bring them back and really integrate them in the show.
Yeah.
Like, that's what you guys want, right?
Yes.
Story with the characters, and they're involved in the plot, and they're helping the new team, and there's it all, and they could do that, and for some reason, I feel like they always just kind of dial it in.
Well, no, they told us this is just want you to know it's Ninja Steel episode, and you guys are just the flavoring. We were like,
see, but it felt that way, and I just think that's, and I just feel like alumni, you know, that's the one thing. That's my only beef with Saban. They've never really valued the fact that you created this amazing show. You've kept this going 25 years, but everyone on the stage, everyone at this Comic-Con, they brought those characters to life. It was words on a page until everyone breathed life into it. And the reason you love the show so much is because everyone made Tanya, they made all these people real to you, and they were real to us. So I just hope one day they're able to do, like, if you're gonna bring people back, do a real, like, do a 2-part or 3-parter episode and really bring them back, or do a really cool movie and give you guys that nostalgia.
And I think they are listening. Hasbro is listening, because they. I just think that may happen.
And if it doesn't happen, you'll see the order next year.
Yeah. Exactly.
I get an invitation to come back every year, and I tell them no.
You're just there to, like, have a camera on your face.
Yeah.
What's the point?
If they're gonna do, I mean, the last time I came back was Forever Red. They wrote something.
And that was a cool episode.
It was focused. Had a purpose. There was a single storyline. You could actually understand it. And so I told them, like, you know what? Send me a script every year. Yeah. Here's what I require. Send me a script. And they never send the script, and I'm like, told you what I require. Bye.
And it's not heavy requirements. It's always just the bare bone base. If we audition for a part, you get to see what you're actually participating in. They don't want you to know anything. So it's very tough.
They just won't commit.
Yeah.
We should probably move on, because that could go forever.
But you know what's amazing though? What I will say is, like, with the comic book series, that's what I love about the comic book series. Like Shattered Grid and all these other, like, they've really done an edgier version, and that for some reason the TV show, they feel like, oh, if we go edgy, the kids won't like it. But everyone loves a comic book. Like, the comic book writing should not be more popular than the TV show writing.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
that's why
and
we have the order.
yes. Well, and it's not Power Rangers. You guys don't expect for us to morph or anything, but you.
We're not going to be, it's Morphin time.
Yeah, and we're not nice.
And you don't know who's evil and who's good.
Yeah, that's the cool part. But anyways, yeah. So I mean, I think if I even told them, I was like, you should hire those comic book writers and have them write a season of Power Rangers. Make it edgy, because you can be edgy and not. You can still attract a younger audience.
Well, the MCU does a really good job in balancing that campy and kind of action-oriented stuff.
Yeah.
And Power Rangers really has all of the ingredients to do that.
Yeah.
It's just, they need to commit to it. They need to commit.
Every time they have the alumni Rangers come back, it's always huge ratings, and I think that Hasbro realizes that. I really do think they realize that. So I hope that they start to
Here's the problem.
listen to you guys.
Saban sold sold it to Hasbro for $522 million. The problem, that would be great.
Is that it?
That was it. That would be great if he sold it and never had anything to do with it. The problem is these best friends with the president of Hasbro. And he stays on as an advisor to Hasbro while they create this new thing. So I don't know how much it's going to change. I hope they stop listening to him. But he's made $7 billion off the show, so I doubt they're going to shut him out.
What he's doing somewhat.
So.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Good question.
Thank you.
Hello. I was just going to say the Hasbro thing is actually in Rhode Island, and I'm from Rhode Island. Hi. And my question is for the Order movie. Did any of you had to do like some of your own stunts while doing this process?
Yeah, we shot 3 days, no budget. What you saw was a 3-day shoot, no budget. These guys did all their own. They learned their fights that day. They did all their own stunts. They did everything. So that's how talented they are. You know, everybody. And it was so cool because like everybody came ready. It was like it was like almost like Power Ranger style, where you had little rehearsal time. And they got in the corner and they were learning their fights, and literally they'd say action, and the minute they'd cut, everyone was fanning each other, making sure everybody looked good. Everybody, it was a solid team of people trying to pull it together, and everyone like brought their A game. It was pinned up inside. But it was so cool to watch them, you know, be so amazing, you know, all these years later.
That's cool. The reason I ask is because I just challenged Azim to a sword fight and he just kicked my butt.
Oh,
yeah,
we didn't know that he could do that. He was a fencer. And he's so talented.
I have it on video.
Yeah, we didn't know, and like literally, it was like we saw what he did for the 3-day shoot, and me and David were like, okay, Azim's part, just add a fight. His part, we added more for him for the movie.
Thank you.
Yes.
Hi. So my question is for Michael. So besides you playing young Rocky, I really loved you as Colt on Three Ninjas. So I have 2 questions for you. So what was it like working with Hulk Hogan? And my second question is, what legacy did you feel that you left behind for Three Ninjas?
I've done a lot of work post Three Ninjas, and it sounds weird and trivial to say that Colt is one of my favorite characters to have played because he was such like a spunky punk, and he like was so aggressive and so abrasive as a kid. And you know, I teach martial arts now for a living, so to be in Power Rangers and then in Three Ninjas, it, you know, parents bringing their kids in really gets kids excited about martial arts and wanting to live that kind of lifestyle. So, you know, I feel like I'm passing on the Power Ranger and Three Ninjas legacy every day when I'm teaching my kids in class. But Hulk Hogan was like the best. He found out that that we were paying for our own rights, the premiere of Three Ninjas, and he was like, "No, brother, I'm picking you up." So he comes straight in. He's got like his limo pulls up, and he's got like his sleeveless NWO shirt, and he's wearing like the bandana with the sunglasses on. He's like, "Come on in, Mike." All of us show up to the premiere and get out of the Hulkster's car. It was pretty awesome.
That's pretty good.
Thank you.
No worries, thank you, man.
That was a good question.
How's it going, guys? My question's for Austin. What made you accept coming back for Zeo, and was the Zeo with the Gold Ranger costume uncomfortable? I've worn the helmet and it seems very hard to see out of, and the shield seems very uncomfortable.
Well, I've never heard of a helmet that was easy to see out of, especially after you breathe like 2 or 3 times. And that's if you're not out in the California sun fighting bad guys. So, you know, really the only difference, I mean, spandex is extremely pliable, obviously, you're wearing it. That's not the problem. The shoulder pads and the arm, because it was usually like a cheap styrofoam, stiff piece of junk. And at the time, I was pretty jacked. So if I did a lot of moving, I used to break the seams on the inside, and it would fall off in the middle of a fight. And they're like, "We can't have Gold Ranger falling apart in a fight." I was like, "Make a better suit." It's like the communicators. They make all the communicators, and they want us to wear them in all of our civilian fights. Well, if I'm throwing blocks and I'm working whatever it is I'm doing, every time I would I would slip or parry or whatever it was, the communicators would break. So the cheap bits that you guys love so much, all the shoulder pads, they look really cool, just don't fight it, ever. And then, so I don't know if you guys have these issues, but a lot of times the communicators would break and they bring us from a fight, and then they pull us over and be like, all right, now we need you over here in the juice bar immediately. Sweating like a hoe in church. I would imagine they sweat.
Holster in church. Holster in church.
So the communicator would be broken, and if you go back and look at some of the scenes where I'm, surrounded by the guys, because we'd always dip into the hallway and be like, yes, so or not. You'll see scenes, I'm almost always like this. And then there's scenes where my watch was so broke that I had to hold it together at the bottom. And you'll see me talking to Zordon like this, probably 8 or 9 episodes. So if you look for those, in fact, I tell you what, if somebody finds one of those, gets a freeze frame shot, sends it to me, private message on Facebook, I'll send you a free autograph. Because they're out there. No, brother, you're free. You're already in, brother.
Hello. This message was originally directed towards those that had a chance to be on the reunion shows in any one way or another, but thanks for that Three Ninjas revelation. Open it up some more. With changes in video and audio recording technology over the years, whether it was in Power Rangers or something else, did the changes in the technology affect the way that you had to make certain motions on screen with choreography, or the way you spoke, or the way you checked for errors on how your acting performances were when you were filming?
Mainly it got cheaper to shoot.
Yeah.
I mean, film was a nightmare. Spending all that money on, we shot on film early on.
Yeah.
You guys probably still did too.
Yeah.
Right? Now, people are making movies on their iPhones.
Yeah.
Do a little color and editing, put on a score, lay down the post,
Really well.
wham, you got a movie. So I think if anything, it got cheaper, which is why you're seeing more independent films. I think it gave people the ability. How many of you guys make home movies, a family? You couldn't do that in the 90s. So I think, in my opinion, it got easier, it got more fun, and now you've got more memory on your phone than my computer had in '93 when I bought it. And I thought that thing was the jam.
Isn't it crazy that we have real communicators now? Like you have an Apple Watch.
Yeah. So.
It's like the Jetsons. Everything in the Jetsons came as good life.
Sounded like a fax.
Yeah, you're like, what's the Jetsons? Awesome.
I also love the Jetsons.
There we go.
Yeah, you guys watch Cartoon
What's your
Network.
question?
Don't play.
Why did you guys want to be Power Rangers in the first place?
Why did you want to be Power Rangers in the first place?
Actually, we wanted to be actors, and Power Rangers was an acting job. So we went to auditions, and it's like you go to tons and tons of auditions, and you get told no, 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 and this is one of the times that they told us yes. So we were living our dream, and it's just a bonus that we got to be superheroes.
And actually, Walter and Audri and I went out for an audition for a show called Phantoms.
Didn't even know it was Power Rangers.
And my character's name was originally Victor.
That Victor, like I remember.
As Power Rangers turns, right? It would have been a horrible soap opera. Guiding Rangers. Could you see that?
I like Victor.
So that was. Why would anybody want to?
I didn't even know who Rocky was when I auditioned for it, because you were still on the show when I actually auditioned for it. So somebody was like, oh, you're gonna audition for Rocky, the young Red Ranger. I'm like, who? This isn't Power Rangers. That's true. And then I got on set and I'm like, what's going on here? Why are you guys not here? And then I met all the new guys and I was like, oh, cool.
We changed it up.
How old are you, bud?
9.
You ever thought about being a superhero of any kind?
Maybe.
Would it not be cool to have superpowers of some kind? Maybe. Yeah, right?
Speechless.
I mean, who at some point wouldn't like to have a superpower? Even if it's just telling your partner to shut up.
Everybody would love that.
Everybody would love to have a superpower at some point.
And I still want to listen.
That's kind of why I think we're superheroes. Like, I get to be a super who? Alright, let's do it.
Thank you. Good question.
Took a lot of courage to ask that question. Good job, buddy.
Hi guys, a two-part question. It's kind of similar. For those of you who have kids, whether your son or daughter think about you being a superhero on TV, and the second part to it is whether your parents or cousins, uncles, everybody that comes out of the woodwork, when you become famous, right? What do they say about you or some stories that they always share? Like my son, the Red Ranger, was the leader. And your dad probably always tells people that, right?
Yeah. My dad, so I dropped out of high school, literally, to take the job in Power Rangers. I was a teenager with attitude. Confirmed by many, I'm sure, especially this one who's known me the longest. So my father was not pleased with me. You're going to drop out to go do Hollywood? Retired. He was major in the Marine Corps at the time. He hadn't even retired. So there was no game plan with my dad. It was like, education. Boy, I taught you better than that. Mom was a cop. So between the two, like when I got slapped, there was no head turning because each one hit me the same on the opposite cheek. So it was more just like that fish face, you know. That's how it was. So Mom was like, you go ahead. I don't think it's the brightest decision, but you go ahead. My dad was like he wouldn't even speak to me. So later I got 2 college degrees, but it was kind of one of those things where they weren't real thrilled. Now, they're all cool with it. My mom, she just came out to my house, she's like, hey, you have any of those Red Ranger shirts? And I was like, here you go, Mom. He's just very stoic. He was kind of like, as far as my kids go, I'll be quick because there's a lot here. I was overseas for years in the Middle East. And I had told my wife, I don't ever want you to show the kids Power Rangers. Because I didn't want to be, I wanted to be a hero as a dad. I didn't want to be a TV persona for my children. But my wife, who's much smarter than I am, knew that I was gone. And do I have a bullseye on my board? So anyway, she decided to put the show up, and she used to look at my little ones and be like, that's your daddy, he's a Power Ranger. So the kids fell in love with it, and they still got some exposure to Dad while I was gone for 4 years of their early lives. And I missed first steps, I missed first words, I missed all the jewels with my 2 boys. And I came home from the war, and my oldest came running up to me like I'd never been gone. And he gave me this huge hug, and he says, Daddy Ranger, you're home. So that was a pretty cool moment for me.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I have 2 kids. My son, when he was young, he was still in the high chair. He was eating one day, and Power Rangers comes on, and so he's sitting there in this chair. Power Ranger comes on and he's looking, he's like, oh, it's interesting colors and, the whole thing. And then he sees me on TV and he goes, and he looks at me and goes, he's like, how did you do that, Dad? I don't know how you. But at this point, they don't care. They're like, okay, it's my dad, he's a Power Ranger or whatever, their fins like it, so my daughter will go, Daddy, can you give my friend an autograph here? And so they found out you're a Power Ranger and they want an autograph. I'm like, all right, baby, here you go.
How old are your kids?
My kids are 11 and 15.
My kids watched everything except Power Rangers. Ninjago, Ninja Turtles, everything else but my show. They don't want to deal with seeing me too much. But my daughter was in kindergarten, and they were doing like a Halloween craft, and the moms were asking what the kids were going to be, and then she said, and my mommy's the Pink Power Ranger. And they said, oh, she's going to be the Pink Power Ranger. And she's like, no, she is the Pink Power Ranger. Yeah. So she's like, no, really. So they like that their friends watch it, and they like to you know, they're proud of me, but then they don't watch the show.
Oh.
Yeah.
My sons are 18 and 15, so I have a young man, I guess you would say, well, two men. And we battled at first because they said I wasn't a superhero.
Oh! Shots fired.
That's exactly what the response was when I announced that I was in the UK. They were like, yes, you were! So we made a video. We made a video. But they were they've used it to their advantage. But my older son, because, you know, they're both in high school, he would get teased that I would be on the wall of one of his friends. Like, can I have your mom? And he's like, shut up, Mom. But yeah, sometimes they use it to their advantage. Like Walter was saying, can you sign this autograph for my friend? And first they wanted me just to be known as Mrs. Gavino, because that's my hyphenated married name, Gavino. And then all of a sudden it was like, okay, it's okay that they know you're a Power Ranger. It's cool. So they go back and forth.
Boys.
Yes,
I don't have any kids, but my nephews, they love it. They have, like, one of them is obsessed, and when he was little, they're 12 now, but when he was little, he went through all these weird stages where he didn't want to wear socks, and he didn't want to go to bed, and he didn't want to, like, it was like the weirdest things. And we found out that he was in love with the show, and he was in love with Steve Cardenas, Rocky. And that's how he would say it. He learned his colors. He wouldn't say red, he would say Rocky. I want a Rocky. And so I had Steve make a video and go, hey, it's me, whatever. And I got a present coming for you. So for Christmas, he got a big box of socks. And they were yeah. So I was using that to like get the stuff we need to do. But my dad is like super proud. I can't go to bingo without him getting on the mic, and he like everybody at bingo. I had to like check him because it's like he's ruined my business in Odessa. And like he made, I'll sign a picture for him and he'll go make copies of it. And me at bingo and it's like, come up and get a picture with her. And like he does a whole photo op session. And I'm like, Dad, we gotta charge for this. What's going on? And it's free for everyone. It's on me. So
my dad made a backdrop. He made a big backdrop, like it's like me in the Black Ranger helmet and black with the Black Ranger outfit without the helmet, sitting on a wall in Detroit with like Detroit on it. So I went home like during the show. I went home and he's like, same thing. It was like he's like, hey, come take a photo with my son right here. I was like, Dad, what are you doing? What are you doing? I know, like.
Invite the whole community.
It's weird too because like I'll go to weddings or sadly funerals or whatever, and it can be the same thing. It becomes a photo op. My family's like, hey, come over here, let me get a photo with you. Hey, come with me, and I'm like, this is a funeral. What are you doing? It's weird. It's weird. You can't do that.
Should I smile in these photos? Don't do that.
Nephews. And I took my nephew to the fair with all of his little friends, and they're all like 9 maybe. And out of the blue, and we really don't talk about it a whole lot, like my nephews, we don't talk about Power Rangers much. And out of the blue, I guess he decided I didn't even know he really cared that I had done this long time ago, tells his group of friends, hey, my aunt was a Yellow Ranger. They're like, what? He's like, yeah, the original Yellow Ranger, way back when it started. And one little boy said, oh my God, that's so retro.
I was going to leave her like this. We had to give her mouth to mouth. Retro. I love that.
All right.
This question's for Walter and Austin, really. Well, any of them. But what would you guys think True Trang would have thought about the legacy that Power Rangers has become?
I think Twee would love every second of this, and I think she's watching now.
Amen.
And I think she couldn't be more proud of everybody that's come and created their iteration and version of the Rangers that followed us. I think Twee would be sitting up here grinning, and she'd be playing some pranks. And she had some mischievous answers. She was the queen of sneak. But she always looked so damn innocent. She could murder half the room on the video, and people would be like, "I saw Austin do it." Like, that's how it would go down. So I think she would be sitting here laughing and loving every second of all of you who share that love with her.
Absolutely, I agree with what he said, and I also know that you guys would have loved her. You would love to meet her because her energy was so infectious and so happy and so like charming. She was such a charming person. So the cool thing is that she lives forever in all of our hearts. So that's amazing.
You guys bring her up every single show. Every single show I do, you guys bring her up. So she's here. She's with us.
And you know what? Stop this whole Kimberly thing. All right, Jason would have dated Trini.
It's going that way in the comics.
I thought it was Tomberly. It's Kimberly now?
There's a battle.
Oh.
I'm just squashing it.
Guys, come on.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not fighting for Kimberly.
I'm sorry. I got her. It's in the comic book. Just
What the hell? And Billy got like 8 girlfriends.
I only had Angela, and Angela was like evading me the whole time. I was like, "What's up, girl? What you doing?"
They waited till I came back as the Gold Ranger, and they're like,
You had Emily.
"Yeah, Emily," but it was a tease. She was always just like, and then I'd have to go fight. So I was like, "Hey, what's up? Yeah." And then 15 monsters would drop out of somewhere. I'm like, I'm busy right now. See this? Can I have a minute? Go back in an hour. They kept coming at me. Jason never.
You never sealed the deal either?
He's still.
Speaking of Gold Ranger, Billy also had a girlfriend named Violet who made a Gold Ranger statue of him.
You gotta rub it in.
He ended up with an alien. He ended up with an alien. Zestria.
All right, last question.
Yeah.
All right, my question's for Walter. Can you talk about Hip Hop Keto and kind of how you started it and the legacy? And no pressure, but if you're up to it, show us something.
Yeah!
You knew it was coming eventually.
So Hip Hop Keto was a lot of people go. So did they just come up with that? Did they say, "Hey, you're black, why don't you dance?" That's not the way it worked. Now what happened was that when they came up in the script, hip hop was blowing up in '93. Like that in the '90s, that's when hip hop was really flourishing, and so they wanted to sell the show, and they were like, "All right, let's add hip hop to it. Let's put some hip hop in it." So the character breakdown was they were looking for an actor that could do martial arts, gymnastics, and dance, and had to create this form of martial arts. So my audition process was like, I went in and they said, "Can you dance a little bit?" And I was like, "All right, yeah, I'll do a dance." So I did some dancing, and they were like, "All right, that's cool. Can you do any martial arts?" So I did like a little kata. "Can you do any blips?" I did a blip. They said, "Now can you put it all together?" And I did that. I did some stuff. I was like, I thought be creative. I'd do like a break dance move, made it look like a kick. And I was like, I was kind of proud of myself. That was kind of fly. And then so then they had me come back, and over the audition period, I had to display more stuff. When I got on the show, and Zach does Hip Hop Keto, I thought, what am I doing? I mean, you know, in the pilot, here it is, everybody's fighting, we're in jeopardy, the police are throwing us around, we've never seen anything like this, and Zach starts dancing. And I was like, I gotta make this make sense, and so I'm gonna just start dancing when he's supposed to be fighting. So I thought, all right, well, think about Muhammad Ali, you know, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, that kind of thing. I thought I could make it into evasion. So if you threw a punch, I got it away. Threw a punch, get out of the way. Or a distraction. Like when Muhammad Ali would fight, he would do the thing with his legs, right? Make you look at the legs and then he punch you. Well, so I thought, well, if I did that, you don't know where it's gonna come from. So you're looking over here, I'm throwing a kick, or you don't know where it's gonna come from, you know, that kind of thing. So, sometimes you do the kick.
Audrey, do you have something?
Yeah, before we leave, and this, I want to say happy birthday to a dear friend of mine. Stand up. Yeah. Everyone say happy birthday.
You might notice we actually went to this place yesterday called Give Kids the World. And there's little boxes on our stations. If you got some, you know, we like the money, the jingles, but we like the kind of
all
goals.
goes.
It all goes to them.
Yes, they are completely run on donations. And after being there, it's such an amazing place. They do so much for these kids
It's
and
mind-blowing.
their families. It's really we just.
It was
wanna
like
give back.
Candyland, guys, and
Yeah.
it's like critically ill, terminally ill children. They honestly, they fly them from all over the world. It's like they work with Make-A-Wish, and they get a whole week. So like Monday they have
Halloween.
Halloween.
They run all the holidays.
All the holidays.
Each day of the week.
They have a birthday party.
Because they never know which
It
kid's
was so
gonna make it.
amazing.
And they don't pay for anything. So
Yeah.
It's like $6,000 they were saying per family, and they bring out like how
Per
many
wish.
families by the end of this year or something like.
They've done hundreds of thousands.
There was a room
Yeah.
that had stars all over the room, and every star represented a child's wish that had come true. And there was thousands of them.
Oh,
It was so
wow. And everything's
amazing.
set up, like if they're wheelchair accessible, they have a water park where they can take the wheelchair. You can, I mean, it's like every single dream you could imagine. It's to give the kids the
You
world.
can actually go online and look at it if you're interested.
And if you're a local Floridian, they, I think they said, they have like over
150 employees, but everyone else is
volunteers. So you could volunteer there. So by all means, if you guys see one of those little boxes at a station, you know, donate, because we're gonna make a contribution. I personally am making a donation of $100 and $100, we got $200, so we're gonna give them. We
get $300.
Everybody, so just do what we can, but we're gonna present them with the money on Sunday. You'll be great.
And real quick, you know, death and dying is a part of life. We understand that, but it comes a lot sooner for some than it really should. And it's not just the kids. Everybody's got that soft spot for their babies or for someone else's babies. And I mean, man, as a father, I get that. But as a medic, I've seen people of all ages go. And I'm going to tell you that there are a lot of people who are putting up a good fight who are on donor lists that are waiting for things that are important to them, like Brittany here.
Yes.
Brittany is waiting on a double lung transplant. And she's fighting a good fight right now. So you have a minute, there's someone here that maybe just a hug, a handshake,
Amen.
some time, a prayer, a break.
About the place was that the entire family, all the kids, the brothers, the sisters, they're all in the fight together. So they got everything that the kid got. So it's just a beautiful thing. And like he said, there's so many people who have their own battle, their own fight. And you guys learned a lot from Power Rangers, and you learned how being a real hero in real life is just being kind to each other. And that, I mean, we all know that's what the world needs right now.
Give a little.
Let's give everyone a big hand. had something else you wanted to say. You look like you had something else you wanted to say.
You know what? I started a foundation called AutismPower.org with a friend of mine. We been fighting for years to bring it to be, and we just partnered up with something called Evans Farms. We're building 2,200 homes by next summer in Ohio. It will be a strictly autism-based community. On top of that, I mean, now we're talking to Nike. We have major sponsors coming in that are looking at backing up what it is we're going to do. The guy who does publicity and marketing plans for Coke, for Dr. Zig Ziglar. Major players are really getting behind this. NPR radio. Some major events that are taking place. If you have time, you know somebody that has autism somewhere in the spectrum, autismpower.org. Anthony Iacampo is a dear friend of mine. He answers the phone calls. Evans Farms is going to be the first ever in existence community based on autism. So it won't be something where you see that guy bagging groceries or you see the guy who's not talking and you walk up and you say something stupid because you don't know better. This will be a community where they're understood, where the companies are run by them, businesses are run by them. People have the opportunity. They're getting paid full wages at jobs in these facilities. They can walk down the street. My wife, my little girl can walk down the street to the grocery store at 10 p.m. and be safe because it's going to be a front porch community, the only one in Ohio. It is the first of many we're going to build over the next years. So stay tuned. If you have questions, hit up autismpower.org and know there's a lot more coming.